Imagine walking through a quiet forest when a shadow moves between the trees. You freeze. A figure steps into the open, broad-shouldered, barrel-chested, and with eyes that seem far older than any you've ever seen. It's not a wild animal. It's not quite human either. You've just come face to face with a Neanderthal, and in the next few moments, everything you thought you knew about them will be tested. Would they welcome you? Would they fear you? Or would you become their prey? Chapter 1. The First Glimpse. The forest is quiet, but it's not the peaceful kind of quiet. It's the stillness that makes the hairs on your neck stand up, the kind where you know you're being watched. Then you see it. Not a deer, not a bear, not another modern human. The figure is stocky, broad, and moves with a strange, purposeful heaviness. They step into a shaft of sunlight and your breath catches. The face is deeply human but different. A heavy brow ridge casting shadow over deep-set eyes, a wide nose built for cold air, and lips pulled tight as they study you. The skin is weathered and rough, the hair thick and unkempt, like someone who's lived their whole life without a mirror. And yet, those eyes, they are intelligent, watchful, calculating. You can almost hear your brain scrambling to categorize them, human, but not. Your instincts are screaming two things at once: run, and don't move. Every primal fear you've inherited from your ancestors is telling you this encounter could change, or end, your life in seconds. Before you can speak, another sense kicks in: smell. Neanderthals carried the scent of smoke, earth, and animal fat, the result of cooking fires, hides used for clothing, and a life lived in close contact with the natural world. It's a smell you've never encountered in modern life, raw, pungent, ancient. This was the scent your distant ancestors once knew meant someone is nearby, someone who may not be friendly. You realize they're studying you just as much as you're studying them. Their head tilts slightly, their eyes flicking to your hands, your clothing, your posture. They're reading your body language just as a predator or wary animal would. You suddenly remember, in this world, every encounter is about survival. They don't know if you're dangerous, but they will decide quickly. Your brain catches up to the moment. This isn't a myth, a museum skeleton, or a CGI reconstruction. This is a living Neanderthal. They stand barely 5 feet 6 inches tall but look as if they could lift you off the ground without effort. Their arms are thick with muscle, their chest broad, their stance grounded and solid like the earth itself. And yet there's something strangely familiar. The tilt of the head, the subtle narrowing of the eyes, the way they seem to be silently asking, "Who are you? What do you want?" It's the same curiosity humans have had for millennia. For a heartbeat you feel connected. But in the next heartbeat you remember, this connection doesn't guarantee safety. In the prehistoric world, curiosity could just as easily lead to an alliance, or to violence. The first glimpse has already told you one thing: meeting a Neanderthal is not like meeting an animal. It's meeting another apex survivor. One who's been playing the survival game much longer than you have. Chapter 2. The Silent Tension. For a moment, neither of you moves. The forest air feels heavier, as if every leaf and twig is holding its breath. Your eyes lock and it's instantly clear this isn't an accident. Neanderthals didn't wander blindly through their environment. Every step was calculated, every glance deliberate. Their gaze is direct but not mindless aggression. It's an assessment. In the wild, eye contact is dangerous. Too long and it's a challenge. Too short and it's weakness. You realize you have no idea which rule applies here, because the rules are buried in a language humans haven't spoken in tens of thousands of years. Every instinct tells you the wrong move could trigger something irreversible. A twitch, a step, even a shift of your shoulders might be read as hostile. You want to speak, maybe to say hello, to signal you mean no harm, but you hesitate. What would they even hear? Neanderthals could vocalize, but their communication relied heavily on gestures, postures, and facial expressions. A slow blink, a tilt of the head, a half step backward. These were their words. And in this moment, every micro-movement counts. The Neanderthal raises their chin slightly and shifts their weight. It's subtle, but in the language of the ancient world it could mean "I see you." Undeciding. It's unsettling to realize that without sharing a single spoken word, you're already in a conversation. One where the outcome could be friendship, indifference, or sudden violence. The tension isn't just between you and them, it's in the world around you. A bird calls in the distance, then falls silent. Somewhere far off, a branch cracks. The Neanderthal's eyes flick toward the sound, then back to you. They are not only measuring you but also the environment, calculating the risk of predators, rival clans, or other dangers. You realize that you're in the middle of an ancient decision-making process, one older than modern humanity. It's the primal question: Is this thing in front of me worth my time, my trust, or my spear? Seconds stretch into what feels like hours. You know the decision is coming soon, and when it does, it will happen fast. In the prehistoric world, hesitation could get you killed. Chapter 3: Strength Beyond Belief. At first glance, you might mistake the Neanderthals' compact height for a disadvantage. But the moment they shift their stance, you see the truth. Every inch of them is pure utility. Their frame is short but incredibly dense, with thick bones and muscles shaped not by gym workouts but by a lifetime of lifting, carrying, climbing, and hunting. This isn't aesthetic muscle, it's survival muscle. A single arm looks like it could snap a branch thicker than your wrist without effort. Their legs, shorter than yours, are built for explosive bursts of power, perfect for sprinting after prey or scaling rocky slopes. You suddenly realize something chilling. If it came down to a physical contest, you wouldn't stand a chance. This isn't just about being strong, it's about being strong in the exact ways that matter for staying alive in the harshest environments imaginable. Without warning, the Neanderthal reaches for a branch beside them, fingers closing around it. The wood creaks in protest, and then with a sharp crack it snaps in half. The sound echoes in the forest and you feel your stomach drop. That wasn't a display of aggression, it was casual, effortless. Like you or I might break a breadstick. Archaeologists have estimated that Neanderthals could generate grip forces far beyond modern humans, enough to crush bone or wield heavy stone tools for hours without tiring. Watching it happen in real life is something else entirely. They drop the splintered wood at their feet and glance at you. It's not a threat, but it's a reminder. In their world, strength wasn't something to show off, it was the baseline requirement for existence. You can't help but think about the last time your species and theirs shared the earth. Neanderthals weren't just surviving, they were thriving in their own territories with their own cultures, tools, and family groups. And yet, they were always competing, with predators, with the environment, and eventually, with us. Strength like this wasn't just physical, it was cultural. Every child grew up learning to throw a spear, skin an animal, and carry heavy loads across dangerous terrain. The gap between you and this Neanderthal isn't just about muscle mass, it's about living in a world where every day demanded you prove you deserve to see the next one. In that moment, you understand something unsettling. Your survival instincts might be sharp, but theirs were honed to a razor's edge over hundreds of thousands of years. You're standing in front of a being shaped by a world you could never truly endure. Chapter 4: The Ancient Mind. You've heard the stereotype before, that Neanderthals were slow, dull, nothing but brute force. But as you watch the one in front of you, it's clear that couldn't be further from the truth. Their eyes move with precision, scanning not just you but the space behind you, the ground beneath your feet, and the canopy above. This isn't mindless observation, it's data collection. Neanderthals had brains slightly larger than modern humans, proportionally speaking. While their skull shape was different, their cognitive abilities included planning hunts, creating tools, and even controlling fire. They didn't just react to the world, they shaped it to their needs. And right now, you can almost see the gears turning. They're not deciding whether they can overpower you, they already know the answer to that. They're deciding if you're worth engaging with at all. The silence between you is filled with meaning. Neanderthals had the physical ability to speak. Their vocal tracts were similar enough to ours, but much of their communication relied on gesture, expression, and body posture. The tilt of their head, the flex of their jaw, the narrowing of their eyes, all of it sends signals. You can't decode them, but you know they matter. Anthropologists believe Neanderthals could share detailed information about hunting, dangers, and resources without a single spoken word. A flick of the wrist might mean predator nearby. A glance to the left could mean food in that direction. Here, in this moment, you realize you're illiterate in the only language that matters, the language of survival spoken through the body. Suddenly, a low rustling emerges from the underbrush. Both of you freeze. The Neanderthal's head snaps toward the sound, and in a fraction of a second they've analyzed it: weight, speed, distance. Without hesitation they pick up a stone from the ground. It's the perfect size and shape for throwing, not luck, but experience. This is the ancient mind in action. Rapid assessment, strategic choice, immediate readiness. No panic, no wasted motion. In your world, problem-solving might mean fixing a laptop or deciding which route to take home. In theirs, it means staying alive when the forest decides to test you. And right now, you're standing beside someone whose ancestors have been passing down this kind of thinking for hundreds of thousands of years. Chapter 5: Predator or Prey. The rustle grows louder. You glance toward the treeline, expecting a deer or boar, but the Neanderthal's body language tells you otherwise. Their shoulders square, Knees bend and their entire posture lowers, the same way a big cat coils before a strike. You follow their gaze and see a flash of movement, something low, powerful, and fast. Your heart rate spikes instantly. In the prehistoric world, there was no fence, no rifle, no emergency number to call. Every encounter with a predator was a life or death calculation. And here's the thing, to a saber-toothed cat or giant hyena, you are prey. Even worse, you're the weaker of the two standing here. Which means if things go bad, you'd better hope the Neanderthal sees value in keeping you alive. The sound stops. That's always the worst sign. Somewhere, hidden in the brush, the predator is deciding when to lunge. The Neanderthal acts before it does. With a sudden burst of motion, they hurl the stone deep into the foliage, not to hit, but to distract. The crack of impact echoes through the forest, and in the same heartbeat, they're moving, urging you silently with a gesture. You follow, stumbling over roots while they navigate the terrain like they were born from it, because, in a way, they were. Every step they take is a choice, avoiding noisy branches, keeping to shadows, staying downwind. You realize this isn't just about strength or speed. Survival here is about knowing the rules of the land better than the things that want to eat you. When you finally stop, you're both breathing hard. The predator hasn't followed. You think you're safe, but the Neanderthal's head keeps turning, scanning for more danger. They glance at you and for the first time, there's something like acknowledgement in their eyes. You're not completely useless. You moved when told, you stayed quiet, you didn't panic. In the prehistoric world, survival often depended on cooperation, even between strangers. You might never truly belong in their world, but right now you've proven that, at least for the moment, you're not dead weight. And in a land where every living thing is either predator or prey, that's the closest thing to trust you're going to get. Chapter 6. The Parting of Worlds. The forest has gone quiet again, but it's not the peaceful kind of quiet. It's the tense, watchful stillness that tells you eyes are still on you, somewhere out there. The Neanderthal shifts their stance, glances toward the distant hills and then back at you. It's not a friendly look, but it's not hostile either. It's measuring, deciding. They take a single step toward you and for a moment you think they might speak. But instead they make a short, sharp hand movement, the same gesture they used earlier to signal move. You understand. This is the end of the road together. Whatever you've shared in this strange, dangerous crossing of paths is over. The Neanderthal turns away, moving toward the thicker forest where the shadows swallow them almost instantly. They don't look back. You stand there for a few seconds, listening to the sound of their footsteps fade, replaced by the rustle of leaves and the faint call of distant birds. It's almost as if the forest reclaims them like they were never there at all. And in that moment, you feel the vast, unbridgeable gap between your world and theirs. They live in a place where danger is constant, trust is rare, and every skill they possess is honed for survival. Not comfort, not convenience, not entertainment. Your world, by comparison, feels fragile, artificial. As you begin your own walk back toward the imagined safety of your world, one thought stays lodged in your mind. They didn't need you. Not once. If anything, your presence was a liability, something they tolerated because, in the moment, it didn't slow them down too much. And yet, in their brief, quiet way, they also taught you something. We didn't survive as a species because we were the strongest or fastest. We survived because we learned to adapt, to cooperate, to think ahead. That same thread runs through them too. You just witnessed it in its rawest, oldest form. And now you know the truth. If you met a Neanderthal, it wouldn't be like shaking hands with a distant cousin. It would be like meeting a mirror from another time, one that shows you exactly how far you've drifted from what it really means to stay alive.